My name's Adam Manaka and I'm the Financial Controller for High-Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at High-Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. High-Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
It's 7 years since we were here at Cadwell Park with the Premier Sidecar Championship, so it's been a long time away. But round 8 of the Hyundai Heavy Industries Sidecar Championship comes here to Cadwell in very mixed weather conditions. In qualifying yesterday, have a look down here. Chris the Stalker Walker had a massive off into Mansfield. He's not feeling very well at the moment, but he'll be okay, I can promise you. Just look at the damage on the bike. It was a big impact straight into the tyre wall. That's not the sort of thing we want to see in sidecar racing. It's all about scoring points. It's all about winning championships. Tim and Tristan Reeves sit on top of the pile. Just look at their lead. It's impressive, isn't it? Maximum. They've just walked through the season. Stevens and Charwood, well, they've got an awful lot to do. Holland, Kershaw there, quick as ever here, particularly Steve Kershaw. Gary Bryan, a good season for him. And Chris Walker, sadly, that big qualifying smash. Get well soon, Chris and Ashley. We want to see you back. Top of the cup, Ellis, Christie second, and the Birchells playing catch up, but they still won't be doing every single round. Race 1 in beautiful conditions, Tim and Tristan Reeves assuming their place in pole position. We were looking for Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood, but they had an electrical problem on the warm-up lap and they haven't made the grid. Amazingly, Alan Founds and Shelley Smith is out-qualifying the Birchells on their 600. Phil Bell with Justin Sharp, always quick, and Phil Bell loves Cadwell, as indeed, in fairness, do most of these sidecar competitors. But it was to be a 10-lap race round here in the sunshine, the crowd lining the banks of Cadwell Park, and Tim and Tristan Reeves doing their customary electric start away ahead of Alan Founds. The 600s, of course, much slower off the line. The Birchells unable to get through on the inside. We were on board at that point with Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark making their way up through the grid as well. And Kershaw was very, very quick here, very quickly dispatched the 600 of Alan Founds, then set off after Andy Peach and Ken Edwards, who also had a very good start on the Suzuki. Phil Bell and Justin Sharp, the next crew to go past the 600 of Alan Founds, just as Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark closed on the back of Andy Peach on the Santander Salt Suzuki. It wasn't long before Kershaw was through, and up into second place went the Flying Scots. Out in front though, Tim and Tristan Reeves, as Barry James and young Jack Tritton fighting through. Brian Gray and Jason Pitt had an off, but rejoined, having climbed back off the grass, as it were. Barry James has shown a real turn of speed this year and put it to good use, as you will see. The battle of the 600s very much alive, as into the lead of the Cup went Ben and Tom Birchall on the Mitchells of Mansfield Yamaha. Barry James, meanwhile, with Ben Holland and Tom Bryant standing in for the injured Stuart Ramsey. Ben Holland on the borrowed Suzuki of Rupert Archer following that huge Thruxton crash which completely destroyed the Hannafin Kawasaki, and as he shot past Barry James, let me tell you, the plan is for Ben Holland to inherit that bike, put the Kawasaki's in, and Rupert Archer will get a present of a new one from their sponsor. Isn't that wonderful, wonderful news for Rupert Archer and Ben Holland? And he was chasing on, past the Birchells he went, but up the front, Phil Bell and Andy Peach were at it hammer and tongs, in fairness. But the ex-Sean Hegarty Suzuki of Phil Bell went through underneath at Park, and he was ahead, leading this terrific chase as Gary Bryan and Andy Peach also swapped paint. A little kiss from Gary Bryan as through came Barry James. He had a look at Andy Peach, but later in the race was to get a little bit overexcited going into Hall Bends. That sometimes happens there. The riders clipping the curb as they went, and that's exactly what happened. Kicked the sidecar wheel up. Barry James and Jack Tritton had to take to the grass. They were on the back end of that freight train and had it all to do again. But as you will see, they did make some inroads. Andy Peach and Ken Edwards surrendering to Gary Bryan and Phil Hyde. So teammates certainly in terms of livery, this pair. Gary Bryan having a good ride in the championship. Ben Holland and Tom Bryant, the next crew to pass Andy Peach and Ken Edwards, who were by that time slowing slightly. Through went the Birchells. Ken Edwards looking over his shoulder. I think this could well have been some sort of race of attrition for Ken Edwards. It's tough, Cadwell Park. Barry James really charging through, having got past Alan Founds, and then Sean Hilditch lost his son Anthony at Hall Bends, who went for a bit of a Swiss roll, ended up on the grass without injury. Checkered flag though for the Reeves brothers, second place for Kershaw and Clark, and behind them the battle raging furiously was headed by Phil Bell and Justin Sharp, and he held it to the flag to claim a much deserved podium and third place. But Tim and Tristan Reeves march imperiously on to another 25-point maximum. Result then, there it is confirmed against the backdrop of Shelley Smithers. Reeves brothers, Kershaw and Bell, that's the podium. Top Cup boys, the Birchall brothers, no surprise, but Founds and Smithers beat Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson into third in the 600cc class. Andy Peach dropped back to 11th overall, but that was about 7th in the 1000cc class. Blackstock Christie and Brian Gray, despite going on the grass, 14th place. He's had a good season, he and Alan Founds together. But there's the podium, Reeves boys on top.
Race 2 coming to the line here. We're on pole position. We've got this reverse grid situation again. Todd Ellis and Chaz Richardson on the 600 Honda start on pole. I don't honestly know who's lining up alongside them. What I can tell you is first race winner Tim Reeves, Tim and Tristan are 10th, so they're right back on row 5. As indeed are Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark. Kershaw set the fastest lap in race 1. If he goes with Reeves, he certainly can stay with him. It's going to be frantic here. It's very tight on a track that's half the width of Thruxton.
Well, actually, lining up alongside Todd Ellis is actually Gary Horspool. There's Phil Bell, third place in race 1, with Justin Sharp having a bit of a one-off ride. Justin Sharp, vastly experienced. There's Gary Horspool and Jimmy Connell taking their place. They were late to the line, confused me on the grid walk, didn't they? But Gary Horspool enjoying riding the long bike. Look at this pair, Barry James and young Jack Tritton in his debut season. And I have to say, riding as well as I've ever seen Tim Reeves ride this year, having a brilliant season. Reunited with brother Tris for the domestic championship. And Tristan admits that he was a little bit sceptical about jumping in because he's been a long time away, 2013. But he's on board and absolutely flying. So watch the lights then. From pole position, look at Todd Ellis on the 600. It's Gary Horspool, the big bike, getting the grunt, of course. That's an ex-Tim Reeves bike he's on anyway, and here is the master. On board with Tim Reeves, looking at the back of Phil Bell and Justin Sharp as they go round Coppice up towards Charlie's. At Charlie's now, and then away down this long straight where they will hit 140 miles an hour through the speed trap in the bottom of the hill. Ben and Tom Birchall looking alongside. We're on board with Alan Founds, but they're being absolutely gobbled up by the big engine bikes coming through. Barry James then at the head of that queue. This is Tim Reeves. Tim Reeves looking at the back of Todd Ellis and Charlie Richardson. Chaz Richardson, vastly experienced passenger, doing a great job. Now, can Tim Reeves' big bike gallop past the 600? Well, you would think so, wouldn't you? But Barry James out in front of Horspool, on board with Founds, right behind Ben Holland and Tom Bryant. looking good in the middle of the pack. They're shadowing the Reeves boys. Kershaw is going with him. Steve Kershaw's going with him. Looking at Phil Bell then, on board with Reeves. Look at the mixed up. I have to say, almost speechless. This reverse grid situation works so well. And here at Cadwell Park, we're seeing it at its very best. In the back of the shot there's Sean Hilditch, and chasing through Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood, and the wheel in the air from Bell. The passengers, in fairness, and Justin Sharp didn't work that left. You can't work the left. There's not enough time to work the left and get back. Ben Holland kissing fairings. You have to be careful you don't trap a passenger's right hand when they lean over and they're holding down the side of the fairing. If you give them a nudge, you could trap the hand. Gary Bryan with Phil Hyde. Haven't they gelled together very well? Ben and Tom Birchall going through on the Mitchells of Mansfield number 16 600 Yamaha, which is very, very quick through the bends. They are ahead of Tim and Tristan Reeves, and being devil's advocate, I just wonder what's going to happen when they get together on tarmac. Through past Gary Bryan goes Tim Reeves. He's now on the back end of the Birchall brothers. Ahead of the Birchall brothers, it looks to me like Gary Horsepole and Jimmy Connell. Now Birchall's going through underneath Horsepole. Horsepole and Jimmy Connell, this lovely Scotsman who commutes on a regular basis. Through goes Reeves, down out of the gooseneck into Mansfield. Through goes Kershaw, underneath Gary Bryan. Kershaw then just lost touch with Tim Reeves. He needs to stay with him. As I said in the intro, Steve Kershaw, a fastest lap and a new lap record in race 1. Can he do the same in race 2? Look at Ben Holland and Tom Bryant switching through, but we're on board with Ricky and Ryan, and they're unable to do anything about this flying bunch in front of them, I can tell you. They're right at the back of this pack. Meanwhile, Kershaw marching on. He's got to get past Horsepole though. He can see Tim Reeves, and frustratingly he can see Tim Reeves just ahead of him, disappearing down the start-finish straight. 125 miles an hour over the finish line. There goes Kershaw, through goes Kershaw. Reeves then on the back of the Birchall brothers. And this, I know, is going to be masterful. He's going to have to work very, very cleverly here and use the speed of the Carl Cox Motorsport Kawasaki to find a way past. And here it is. Oh, how clean do you want it? Just a little kiss on the way through. There you go, Ben. That was nice and tidy, wasn't it? Tim Reeves then past the Birchall brothers at Chris Curve now. Round they go. Barry James and Jack Tritton will be the next crew to fall victim to Tim and Tristan Reeves on lap 3 of 10. 10 laps around Cadwell Park. A long, long way. Immense concentration needed. The Birchalls are staying with Tim and Tristan Reeves, and they'll get even closer and might see Barry James and Jack Tritton as a passing opportunity, because they are going well, and Tim Reeves is not going to be able to fly past them. He'll find a way past, I'm sure, at some stage. Now just watch how the passenger works this left. Can't really, but that's a good job. Jack Tritton did a good job there. Worked it enough, that's for sure. That's what happens when you're young and nimble. You can flick from one side to the other. Jack Tritton, of course, his father, a very experienced passenger, has taught him everything he knows. And here we are. Past the Barry James Kawasaki goes the Carl Cox Motorsport into the lead. Tim and Tristan Reeves in the lead then on lap 4. The Birchalls, though, going with them. This is one cracking race. The chase very much on here. Ben and Tom Birchall on the back of, and they're good mates actually, Barry James and Ben Birchall. I was at a wedding function once when they were all there having beers in the bar. Lovely stuff. Barry James then leading the Birchall brothers, and Steve Kershaw, Stuart Clark actually 4th in the race but 3rd in class, because don't lose sight of the fact that the Birchalls are on a 600. They are 600 Cup leaders by a country mile at the moment, having gone round here at quickest. They set a fastest lap on a 600, which is astonishing. But Kershaw gathering momentum now, looking at the back of Ben and Tom Birchall, who simply have to find a way past Barry James and Jack Tritton, and they do. They do really, really well. Through they go then. Kershaw as well into the bottom of the mountain. not able to do it. Barry James sweeping around the outside, up over the hill they go. Into the woodland section, Kershaw's not going to be able to do anything. He's going to have to follow the leader all the way through the trees. As Ben and Tom Birchall flick the 600cc Yamaha, it's very nimble. That's where they gain on corner speed and manoeuvrability. And Tom, the passenger, said it's much easier to ride, puts less stress on the passenger. This is where Kershaw then should get the express tyres, Blink Bonnie, Kawasaki past Barry James. Kawasaki plays Kawasaki, but Kershaw's is very, very quick. And it's another lap record for Steve Kershaw. Steve Kershaw in the 32s, but Barry James fighting back, not a bit of it, completely unabashed and mixing it up front. And Barry James, it's worth saying, one of the few riders in recent years to beat Tim Reeves, not just once, but twice on home ground at Brands Hatch. Way back in, let me see, 2011 possibly. Statisticians out there, please don't correct me because I haven't got the paperwork to hand, but it's a rough guess. So we know Barry James is quick, and we could see he's quick because he's back past Kershaw and Clark and giving them no small amount of problems. Kershaw can see, and through he goes out of the gooseneck into Mansfield. That's it now. Kershaw dives through on the brakes on the left. Ricky Stevens up alongside Phil Bell, going underneath Phil Bell. No, Phil Bell going through. Go! Kershaw! Oh dear, what did I say? Horsepole. Horsepole spins. What? What happened there? That's what Ricky Stevens is saying too. Into the advertising hoardings. Well, I'm not sure what happened. That all happened so quickly. It was Gary Horsepole and Jimmy Connell who came out of the slipstream of Phil Bell. Dear me. Oh, let's have a look. Let's see. On board with Ben Holland. Yeah, Gary Horsepole lunged across and collided. Oh, and how lucky was Ben Holland to miss that, shaking his head in utter disbelief. I have no idea what happened there. Gary Horsepole came across from the left-hand side of the track into Ricky Stevens. Phil Bell also ran wide. So drama then on lap 8 here. Whew. Well, that was frantic stuff, wasn't it? Kershaw's now established in 3rd position on the road, 2nd in class, because ahead of them are the Birchall boys on the 600. Ben Holland and Tom Bryant looking for a way past Gary Bryan and Phil Hyde on the Santander Salt Kawasaki. Ben Holland, I remind you, on Rupert Archer's Suzuki, but carrying the number 60, and that chassis will be fitted with Kawasaki engines in due course. Has the Suzuki got the legs then to go past Gary Bryan's Kawasaki on the fastest part of the circuit? Here they come. Just having a look, Ben Holland very wily. It's incredible to see him here after that huge Thruxton crash. Looking very focused, and he'll have to find a way past Gary Bryan, but he's in steady position in the points as well, vying over 4th place. Through he goes with Kershaw. Whether he'll still be in 4th place or even 3rd at the end of this race remains to be seen. I'll tell you that when we get the standings. I can tell you Tim and Tristan Reeves have just put in a fastest lap, new lap record, 132.711, going even quicker than Kershaw's 132.9. So 0.2 of a second, Tim Reeves has come under the lap record. It's getting quicker all the time, and we are on our final lap. Holland ahead of Gary Bryan. Tim and Tristan over the line for one more lap. These guys will have another lap. Round Barn Corner they go, where there used to be an old shed and a pond just the other side of those black bales way back in the day, and I remember that. If you ran too wide, you could take an early bath, literally. Over the line they go then. 2.18 miles of Cadwell Park as they come up towards Charlie's for the final time. Gary Bryan is showing all the speed he needs to get past that Suzuki, and possibly the Kawasaki is a bit quicker in a straight line when they get onto Park Straight. But no, Holland using the borrowed bike really well. And I have to say, Tom Bryant, having done a great job jumping in this weekend. This pair have never ridden before. Tom Bryant, of course, started the season with Neville Jones, and has made it clear that he aspires to be passengering with the best, and it looks as though he's more than capable of doing so. Doing a good job here. Down they come out of the gooseneck towards Mansfield. Tim and Tristan Reeves about to lap Sean and Anthony Hilditch, but I guess they'll save them the pain and let them lead them over the line. Here they come then, on their way to the checkered flag. Double victory here at Cadwell Park. A wave to Annabelle on the flag. Second place on the road for the Birchells, first in class. Their third, Kershaw and Clark go over. Barry James and Jack Tritton, they are third in the 1000cc race, as it were. But there you have it. The Birchells did a great job following Tim and Tristan Reeves home, but unable to sustain the speed of this Carl Cox Motorsport Kawasaki. But that crowns Reeves champions, I can tell you. They've done enough. Nobody can beat them. Birchall's second, but Cup leaders, Kershaw and James, Ben Hall and Tom Bryant, brilliant. Fifth in race, fourth in class. Gary Bryan and Hyde, and there, all the way down the order, you can see Scott Parnell, Kirsty Hawkswell, picking up valuable points. Good for them.
Double 600 Cup winners Ben and Tom Birchall, leaders in the World Championship by a country mile here at Cadwell Park. Bit different from a Grand Prix, but a lot of fun, Ben.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed that race. It were fantastic, and you know, we got up amongst the thousands and finished second overall, and just proves what a great package this bike is and how well it's working. And yeah, we're looking forward to Croatia now and see how we can get on there. Hopefully see all that World Championship, and a big thank you to all those friends and sponsors that help us, and what a great event at Cadwell Park.
Steve Kershaw, Stuart Clark, two races here at Cadwell, two absolutely brilliant performances. Fastest lap yesterday, another lap record today. You've certainly got the pace. Well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, really happy. Bike's perfect, Stuart's perfect. We're all working so well together as a team, and yeah, we're getting closer and closer to that top step.
Stuart, if you hadn't got caught up in the traffic today, it might have been a different story. You were certainly running as fast as Tim and Tris.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, we feel we've got the pace to stick with them. You know, Tim's really good out the blocks, and we're trying to get there ourselves. So we're working on that. But yeah, hopefully before the end of the year we'll get them.
2017 British champions, Tim and Tristan Reeves. I mean, you've just been imperious along the way, victories in every race, but did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, I did enjoy that one. Yeah, I did. It's nice. I love that reverse grid thing, and because it was really tight, it was. Yeah, it was good. It was really, and to be fair, the 10 in front of us were all not trying to kill themselves like I did at Thruxton. So it was a pleasure to ride. Yeah, and this track's phenomenal. I'm so happy that we're back here, and I think it's a good thing for the future. I think hopefully we'll be back again next year. The crowd was phenomenal, and they seemed to. Everyone was watching. And I think hopefully we put on a good enough show for everyone, and I think it looked good. And
it was good television. It made really, really good television. You know, carving your way through, and you could see the difference in the 600s and all. It was close.
Yeah, it was really close. It was. I thought, to be fair, it'd be a little. We're not saying it was easy, obviously, but we got through quicker than what I thought. I thought it was going to be like one a lap sort of thing, but no, it was really good. I just enjoyed it. I hadn't done a full season since 2013, and Tim asked me at the beginning of the year, and I obviously said yeah, I wasn't going to say no. But to win it, and to win every race so far, yeah, it's unbelievable.
Tim, from everybody out there, this side of the camera, huge congratulations, well done.
Thanks very much, enjoy.
Yeah, cheers.
What a class act. Now, ask yourself the question, are they going to take their foot off the gas for the remaining rounds? You better believe they won't. Stevens, well, it slipped away. They'll be back next year, of course, to have another go, but not the best year. The man on the mission, though, Kershaw and Clark, how good are they? And now that battle in the 600's closing up. The Birchells just 19 points behind Todd Ellis, but they are going to miss another round.
Well, this is it. This is the machine that carried them to championship success. The Carl Cox Motorsport Team E8 Kawasaki. Tim and Tristan Reeves, 2017 champions. For them, it's just riding for fun now. But then again, they never ride for fun, do they? We're in Assen for the next round. Can the other boys play catch up? I'm sure they'll be doing the best they can. Thanks for watching. But for now, goodbye.